Chris Cuomo. Rob, if you have a clip from Chris said some words and it went viral, and a ton of people on social were reacting to it. Vinny, I'm coming to you first with this one here. Rob, whenever you're ready, go ahead and play it. There's music, guys. If the music offends you, stick around. Go ahead, Rob.
You got to stop thinking that the people who support Trump are like Trump, that they speak like Trump, that they act like Trump. They don't. They want to hire Trump to do a dirty job. They want him to be a virus to the political corpus. They want him to disrupt, to destroy, to demean those that they disrespect and dislike, the system that they distrust and despise. They want someone to do what they believe has been done to them and that they cannot do themselves. That's why they don't care that he exhibits terrible behavior, because they're putting him into a terrible place. If you're sending somebody into the jungle, do you really care if they're a savage? You see what I'm saying? And you have to understand it that way. You may not agree, you may not accept, you may not like, but that's what it is.
I absolutely love it. I mean, a little too late. 8 years later, Chris, who I like, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I know a lot of people out there, listen, he's made a lot of mistakes, but he's absolutely right. And he's seen, by the way, he's not 100% on Trump package. But question though, before I get into it, do you guys think he's voting this election for Kamala Harris? If you guys had to guess, who is Chris Cuomo voting for? Or is he sitting it out?
I think he's going to set it out.
Chris was a Bobby guy. Absolutely.
He's sitting it out. I'm
just saying, I know he was a Bobby guy.
Yeah, I know that
Bobby
too.
Kennedy, yeah.
But I'll let you answer at the end. But it's taken Chris 8 years to understand that this guy that we like, okay, that we understood from 2016, had to come in here and fight for us, and he's been fighting ever since. Freaking attempts on his life, trying to take all his money, trying to put him in prison. It's taking him that long to realize it. But the one thing I'm confused is, but then you'll see a tweet. What was the tweet, Rob? Where he's kind of like liking Kamala, and then it's like the flip-flop flounder situation. I don't understand, Tom. I don't understand how, you go from, CNN saying, in a world of terror and this, the biggest threat is the American person who's not vaccinated. Like, how do you go from that to anti-Trump, to Russia collusion, to now you're seeing the light? But then when we think that the light is there, then you go back to, Kamala's this and Kamala's praising this. It's confusing, but this type of message I do respect, because he's finally understanding why people like us love a guy that's willing to fight evil with fire.
Well, I think what he said here was correct commentary. I think Chris is saying what he's observing, and I happen to agree with his observation. I think his observation is correct. At the same time, he can take a breath and then come back and say that, he is more in favor of the policies coming from the left side. So I think both can be true, but I think this was a very objective, because he's right. Do we care if we're sending a savage into the jungle? No, that's what we want. And Trump has said, and I'm going to take Elon with me because I need someone who knows how to work in jungles, and the jungle has been trying to kill Elon. And so Elon's going to come in there and he's going to chop things off the jungle too. Mm-hmm. So I kind of see it that way. And then there's other things that Cuomo has tweeted over the weekend that I disagreed with. They were in terms of positions. But I thought he was being objective here.
I actually think it's a great take by Cuomo, because he's basically saying you have to understand why the people are voting for Trump. And a lot of people didn't fully recognize what Trump stood for in 2016 and again in 2024, is that they like the fact that he is a chaos candidate. They like the fact that he's a change agent. They like the fact that he's a disruptor. They like the fact that he's a middle finger to the system, because they're basically saying the system has screwed us over. And what Bill Maher always says this, you can hate Trump, but you can't hate the 80+ million Americans that vote for the guy. So that's what Trump represents. You can't judge everyone that votes for Trump based on Trump's personality. And they know that he's sort of an honest liar. But you know who's a bigger liar? Mm-hmm. The Democrats. And I'll tell you why, if you give me a sec. Because Trump lies about little things. Oh, my hand size, the size of my crowd. But he's actually honest about, I don't pay taxes, because all your donors do the exact same thing. When the Democrats lie, they lie about big things like you need to get vaccinated to save everyone. Oh, okay, I guess that turned
The planet.
Yeah. Or that Trump is Hitler. Or, the big lie that they've told is, a man can be a woman. So the lies are a little bit different. Yes, Trump does lie, but he's also an honest liar. And that's what's weird about Trump.
Well, back to Chris, which was what this is about. This is the same Chris that, Pat, I think that we saw at the conventions, where he did a very, very accurate and stirring commentary about the donor class looking down on the people at the convention. This is the same Chris in that lane.
Yeah,
in my view.
I mean, listen, Chris is in a tough spot because Chris is in a community of people in his friends, family, people closest to him that fully disagree with him when it comes down to when he every once in a while is complimentary of what Trump is doing or the conservatives are doing, and then he goes home to that. And I'm speculating, guys. I don't know. Phone is flooded with messages. What are you talking about? What was that all about? You got to go on something. No. My such and such called me. This person called me, and it's like, okay, next day I will go. Then tweet. Well, here's the thing. So it's nobody knows what really goes on in life after. So first you hear that's really who the person is. Then they leave, and then they change. It's like, no, who is the real? So it's a complicated place to be right now. As it gets closer and closer and closer, and the election's getting right now, pressure is so high. This is when you hear friends screaming at their friends saying, what the hell is the matter with you? What do you think you're doing? Are you out of your mind? You're going to vote this way? Are you crazy? That's when the arguments are at the highest level. By the way, there is millions of people in America today that cannot wait for November 6th. You know why?
Yeah.
They just want it to be over with. To just go back to having dinner and talking about who got traded, talking about what the score is, talking about what the deal is going to be on Amazon Prime Day, talking about Christmas, what are we making, who are we inviting, whose wedding's coming up, who got a divorce, they want to go back to all those stuff that they typically talk about. Right now, the tension's very, very high, and so it's frustrating, and it especially is tough for guys like him that go home and a bunch of people that disagree with them are friends and family.
Great point, Pat. Not to go off topic, but I just saw, because it's going around on Twitter, that J.D. Vance is going to appear on Joe Rogan this week.
Oh, fantastic! That's great.
That's great.
That's great.
That's great.
And I think that's going to really perform well. Because J.D. more and more and more is becoming and by the way, here's the other part. Notice how J.D. and Trump, where do you see them?
They'll
everywhere.
Go everywhere.
It's crazy.
Everywhere.
It's crazy.
Kamala not going everywhere.
Yeah. Even
you know how it's going to happen later on when somebody is president, they want to negotiate with Putin and all these other guys? No, we're going to wait till everybody has to come to us. Everybody. Now he's like, hey, well, I'm going to come and meet with you in North Korea. What do you think you're doing? My button's bigger than yours, and mine works. Hey, what are you guys doing in Russia? Here's what we're going to. Hey, what are you guys doing in China? Hey, he's going to go. No, I can't go. They need to come to Martha's Vineyard. They need to come to Nantucket. They need to come to all these other places. Now we'll go meet with them and sit down and have a conversation with them. So that is officially where we are right now with how we feel things are going to end up, okay? Key toss-ups in Nevada, Michigan, Wisconsin, that could make it even higher. But as of right now, on VTnews.ai, you will see us being at 281 to 228. Here's what I want you to do. Go to VTnews.ai, Rob. If we go look at VTnews.ai, if you go to VTnews.ai, go to the right and type an election right there. Yes, 6 days left. Guys, go do your calculation. If you go to the bottom, Rob, and click on anything to show them how they feel like the numbers that can change. Go a little lower, Rob, so we can see the numbers changing. No, Rob, the other. Yeah, there you go. Zoom in a little so I can see the numbers.
Do Georgia and Arizona.
If you do Georgia and Arizona, all the way red, yeah. So you'll see how the numbers are changing at the top.
In Pennsylvania?
Yeah, guys, for some of you that are messing with this, it's down 281, right? So this thing can be done fairly early. I don't think Arizona's going to go that early, Tom. I think Arizona's going to be, they've already said they need 10 to 12 days of counting, right? They've already said that. Go ahead, Tom. You look like you want to say something.
Yeah, it's polls close at 7 p.m. Eastern, and 2 to 3 hours later, we're going to see Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania numbers, and it could be wrapping up.
Yeah, it could be done fairly quickly. But, this is, a lot of people are using this tool. We've never had this much traffic on VTnews.ai. Guys, go subscribe to VTnews.ai. Use the AI portion of it, the machine learning side of it. Ask any of the questions. The one that I like to go to is the top 5 events for the day, but that's vtnews.ai. Go subscribe to vtnews.ai. There's a ton of features that are coming up here. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.